Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and that's going to be our entire focus today. Well, mostly, because we are going to do an update on my R Fantasy Challenge for the 2024-2025 year. Hello everyone, and welcome to my update for the R Fantasy Challenge. So the Reddit Fantasy Reading Challenge is, of course, on Reddit. There is a list of 25 challenges each year that you are supposed to hit with a blend of fantasy, sci-fi, speculative fiction. There's some rules and more details over there that I will link to. However, I have been working on this since I believe April. I think it runs April to March, or maybe March to February. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check to make sure I get this done in time, but I only have a few months left and I have done 15 of the 25 challenges, so I have a few left that I need to fit in. So I thought I would go over the ones that I still have remaining and talk about what I plan on reading for them, because some of it has changed. I have what I originally put down for my challenge choice and what I'm hoping to read now, whether that's changed or not. I'm not going to go over what I have read. I'm going to save that for at the end of the challenge to go over all the prompts at once. But for right now, these are the ones that I still have remaining. So the first one on my list is the alliterative title, which means you have to have a book with 2 or more words that start with the same letter. And originally I chose Song of Silver Flame Like Night, but unfortunately I DNF'd that book and didn't finish it. So I instead am going to try to read Son of the Storm by Sui Davies Alcambala, and this is I believe, high fantasy. It also could be sci-fi. I forget exactly what the description of this book is. I'm hoping to read this before the end of the year, since it's on my self-destruct list, but I am also excited for it, so I'm trying to fit it in, and if not, it might sneak into 2025. But this is my hope for that prompt. Next up is Criminals, and I originally chose City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty for this prompt, but I'm not feeling like reading that right now. I've heard a few negative reviews about it, and I am trying to give myself some space before I start reading that so that they don't impact my rating. So instead, I'm going to try to read Starling House by Alex E. Haro. This was for another prompt, but I've moved it to this one. I think I already filled the prompt that I picked it for. So I'm going to try to read this instead. And in this, the main character talks about being like a con artist, or her parent was a con artist, I forget, but like that they did these like small petty thefts and like cons a lot. So I have started this once before, so I've gotten that far. I just lost the audiobook and didn't go back to it yet, so I'm hoping that I can get to this before March. Next up, I have Romantasy, and I think I've read a couple of books that would fit for this prompt this past year, but I fit them into other places, or they have just been, applied to other things. So I originally chose Storm Song by C.L. Polk, but I really want to reread Witchmark before I jump into Storm Song. So I've decided instead to possibly use When the Moon Hatched, because I have FOMO about this book so badly right now. I want to try it out so bad, and I just am feeling the FOMO. So this might make it onto my reads regardless of any other plans I might make, just because I want to read it so badly and give it a try. So I'm just putting it in here in hopes that works out if it does. Then we have Dark Academia, and I'm so surprised I haven't filled this prompt yet, because I read several Dark Academia books in the first few months of the year last year, but that was before this challenge started, and since then I don't think I've picked one up. Maybe it's just because I need it to be dark and cold for me to want to read these books. But I chose Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo for this prompt, and I wouldn't be mad if I read Hellbent, but I'm also thinking about picking up Babel by R.F. Kuang for another project, so this would fit as well. And since I'm already reading this, I might just plug it in here. But either one of these I would be interested in reading, and hopefully I will read in the next few months anyway. The next prompt is multi-POV, and I originally chose the 5th season for this, but I have put that into another prompt as well. This is one that might end up being an organic pick, that if I find a book that is multi-POV and is fantasy, I will read it. I just don't have anything on my shelves that applies since we can't repeat authors and rereads don't count. Well, I've already applied my one reread, so I'm just kind of hoping that this comes up organically. If we get close to the end of the challenge, I might like search something out, but for right now, this is just going to be an organic pick. Then we have published in the 90s, and I originally chose Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, but this has not happened at all. And though I do eventually would want to try Eye of the World, I think right now I'm going to try to read The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. This feels wintry, Christmassy to me, and I think because of the cover and like my memories of the movie. So I am hoping to give this a try this fall winter season and see if I like it. I think I've tried to read this once before, but I never read it as a kid, so I thought this would be a good pick to kind of fill out and round out some of my fantasy knowledge. Then we have Orcs, Goblins, and Trolls, Oh My, and for this one, I'm going to choose Unnatural Magic, which was my original pick, so the fact that this is staying is nice. This has a, I believe, troll main character in it, and I have had this for a few years, so I really would like to give this a shot before this year's challenge ends. The next pick also stayed the same in space opera. I had chosen Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers, and I think this is a goal of mine to read this year or next year, as I talked about in my series video, so I really want to get on this, and I just haven't done it. I read another Becky Chambers this year, and I think I might have gotten mixed up if I applied it in this challenge before now, but I definitely want to prioritize this and get it on the challenge and keep reading this series. Then we have 5 SFF short stories, or you can read an entire anthology. And for this one, I think I'm going to choose The Mythic Dream, edited by Dominic Parisian and Nava Wolf. And this is one that I've had for a little while, and it has some authors that I like as well as ones I want to try in it, but I've never picked it up. I can't believe I didn't pick this like at the beginning of the challenge, because originally I had just kind of searched my library for anthologies and put a few on there, but since this is all like speculative classic myths and reimaginings, as well as gods and kings, heroes, and like, you know, so this sounds very SFF. So since I already have this on my shelf, I'm going to replace the kind of other anthologies that I had thought about using and try to put this one on there. Then the last book that I have here is one with reference materials, and for this I originally chose Saint Death's Daughter, and I think I'm going to stick with that. This had to have some sort of like information at the beginning, and there is a key to dates, gods, and other useful terms in the front of this book, so that was how I applied it. So I do have the audiobook of this in my Libro FM library, so I think if I do get to this, it'll be this one. This is also quite thick though. This is like 600 pages, so if I don't get to this one, it might be another one that gets filled organically before the end of the challenge. But those are all of the prompts that I still have open on the R Fantasy Challenge for this year. I am really happy with my progress. I honestly think that I've done pretty well for my first time attempting this, and I'm excited to see how the next few months go. I will double check the deadline to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's the end of March that this came out, and we started last year. So I will double check, but I think I have 3 more months after December to finish this up. If not, I'm really gonna have to get moving. But that is everything for me today. If you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything about the books that I talked about today, please let me know down below. If you're not feeling chatty, leave me a dragon or a robot emoji for science fiction and fantasy. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!